This time I'm walking around Pompeii in Italy. To get myself adjusted, I went for a look around the Flavian Amphitheatre in Rome. The amphitheatre's construction began in the year 72 of the Common Era and was completed by the year 80, only a year after the catastrophic events at Mount Vesuvius. Mount Vesuvius is a 1,281 metre high volcano on the Bay of Naples, and from the 23rd to 24th of August in the year 79 it would erupt, expelling a cloud of superheated tephra and gases 33 kilometres into the air. Molten rock, pulverised pumice and hot ash would be released at a rate of 1.5 million tonnes per second, obliterating settlements and burying the towns of Pompeii and Herculaneum underneath a pyroclastic surge up to 6 metres deep. The area had a population of 16 to 20,000 souls, and the remains of over 1,500 people have been found. However, the total death toll is unknown, but believed to be around 13,000 people. Many survivors would later die from the inhalation of toxic fumes. The eruption of 79 was preceded by an earthquake some 17 years earlier, on the 5th of February 62, which caused widespread destruction around the Bay of Naples. Some of the damage that this caused had still not been repaired by the time of the 79 eruption. Another smaller earthquake took place in the year 64, and a report from the time states that a flock of 600 sheep died from tainted air. On the 20th of August in the year 79, a series of small earthquakes began, becoming more frequent over the next 4 days, but the warnings were not recognised. The populace of the region had grown accustomed to minor earth tremors, and as the writer Pliny the Younger wrote, they were not particularly alarming because they are frequent in Campania. To this day, Vesuvius remains one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world, and with over 3 million people living nearby, it is currently the most densely populated volcanic region on the planet. On the first day of the eruption, white pumice containing clastic fragments 3 centimetres large fell for hours on the town. The gases in the air heated roof tiles to 140 degrees Celsius. Soon after, grey pumice with clastics up to 10 centimetres rained down for the next 18 hours. Early in the morning of the second day, the gas cloud began to collapse, causing temperatures to surge up to 260 degrees. Anyone remaining in the town could now not have escaped, as the city, countryside and coast were surrounded by gases of incinerating temperatures. Pyroclastic surges reached 300 degrees Celsius, high enough to kill hundreds of people in a fraction of a second. Many of the bodies found appear frozen in contorted action. This cadaveric spasm is a consequence of thermal shock on their bodies after death. At the time of the eruption, Pompeii was a thriving coastal town, trading with the neighbouring settlements of Stabia and Herculaneum, and exporting as far as Rome. Wine was made in the town, with the slopes of Mount Vesuvius being particularly suited to vineyards, the soil being heated from the volcanic activity below the surface. The people of Pompeii drank wine throughout the year, and on cold days would consume colder. Colder is a mixture of wine, warm water, and spices. In the summer, a drink of wine with honey, known as mulsum, was consumed. The shops sold foodstuffs from jars recessed into the countertops. Remains of figs, seeds, dates, lentils, olives, nuts, and salted fish and meats have been found. The Romans were also very fond of a fermented fish sauce called garum, production of which has been found all around the Mediterranean coast. The town's bakery is well preserved, and so was the bread. 81 carbonised loaves were found on the shelves, ready for sale. The Romans were keen on sport, with wrestling, boxing and athletics among their favourites. Board games were popular, such as chess, checkers and backgammon. Dice games were also to be found. Music, dancing, poetry and theatre were pleasant ways to while away an evening, and often parties were organised through clubs or associations. Failing that, there was always the tavern. Public baths, called thermae, were an important place for Romans to bathe, relax and socialise. They were built around 3 principal rooms: the caldarium, a hot bath with water heated from a log fire and channeled to the room, the tepidarium, a tepid bath, and a frigidarium, a cold bath. Some larger thermae included a sudatorium and a laconicum, a moist steam bath and a dry hot room. One would oil oneself, then remove the excess oil with a strigil. Slaves would often scrape the oil from their masters, and hand them a towel at the appropriate time. In the centre of town is the Forum, a large rectangular plaza 38 metres by 142 metres, orientated north to south, with the Capitolium at the north end. The Forum includes a Sergestum, a dais for orators. Temples to Apollo and Jove surround the Forum, along with shops and a horium, a grain warehouse. On the Temple of Apollo's outer wall is a weighing table to check the merchants' measures. At the south end of the Forum lays the Basilica, and one of the finest standing examples. It measures 55 metres by 24 metres. At the far end was where the tribunal heard legal cases. The Basilica was also a popular meeting place and frequented every day by a large number of people, evidenced by the varied graffiti scratched into the walls. Next time on the Adventures of David Perkins, I shall be walking around the Eastern Fells in England.